Hello and welcome back to the Bright Founders Talk podcast from Temi. Temi is an international software development company that designs, builds and delivers software for sustainable businesses and promising startups. My name's Chris and today's guest is someone who has co-founded 2 thriving businesses, a chairman for another one, as well as a mentor for the next generation on the side. Giovanni Bertoli, welcome to the podcast. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you, Chris. Nice to meet you. How are you?
Doing very well. Hopefully I said, is it Bertoli? Hopefully I got that.
Bertoli in theory, but I'm used because everywhere I go in the world, they say Bertoli. So now I even introduce myself as Bertoli when I'm abroad.
Oh, God.
So it's easier.
Okay. Well, I apologize for all of us and our bad pronunciation of Italian. As always, got some light-hearted questions, some quick-fire questions. The first one for you, what's the best way to kick off the day?
So I like a lot sports. So probably the best way to kick off the day is doing some sport, and then it give you, I think, the energy and the adrenaline for the entire day. Also, you are finding working late at that stage because you don't feel like I need to leave to do sports because you have already done it when you woke up. So probably that's the way I like the most.
Okay, gives you more energy for the day as well, right? Kind of.
Yeah,
as you
exactly.
go. What's your favorite way, non-tech related way to relax?
Probably the answer of this question is similar to the first, because that I used to relax in the same way as I used to energize myself, which is again doing sport. And all the ways I have to relax are probably not tech, as I think that if you spend time working in front of the laptop, it is important to as an hobby or as a way to relax, to do something which is not in front of your laptop. Even like when I was in Google, there was the PlayStation and the ping pong, and there was the tennis table. I was always using the tennis table, not that much, maybe the screens or the PlayStation. And again, here I'm addicted to sport. I play tennis, paddle, football, windsurf, and every day I try to find the time to do some of this, and this really relaxes me.
Yeah, I suppose it's kind of just being involved in a game, or like, being more present in that specific moment rather than thinking about your business problems or that kind of thing helps you to relax, right?
Yeah, I think it's one of the only way in which your mind go completely into that, as you're saying it. And so you're not half that and half thinking to something else, but you're really 100% focused on that. It's even a form of meditation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I totally agree. As someone who is involved in sports and business, which footballer would you consider going into business with?
Nice question. I think there are many footballers that are smart people. I would do business with many. Maybe if I think about in the team that I support, that is AS Roma, a player that I think had a lot of real intelligence, I would think about Daniele De Rossi.
I always thought he's quite an interesting character, especially with his the way he moved around. Like he went to Argentina, right? Kind of a very left field move. Most people would do something more like, okay, how can I make more money? So it's quite interesting. Maybe he would have some fresh ideas, right? Some different. What's it like starting a business in Italy or Rome more specifically? How would you describe the situation?
So many people speak about Italy as a place where you should not start your business. And many people actually ask, why did you start a business in Italy, not somewhere else? Bureaucracy, taxation. Honestly, I think it's not that bad. I think it's an ecosystem where there are a lot of smart people and also people that are very knowledgeable in many fields. So even in terms of hiring, you have a lot of talent. The cost of labor, it's probably lower than many other jurisdictions where you find the knowledgeable people. Definitely there is some more maybe heavy bureaucracy, but at the end of the day, if you're professional that work with you, that like the advisory, the lawyers, the accountant, you are surrounded by a good group of people that support you and that are expert in this jurisdiction. It doesn't really go to you most of the burden of the progress and the complexity. And then for sure it's a market where you have a lower access to money and capital when you do fundraising. But the fact that you're based in Italy doesn't mean that you cannot access venture capitalists that are in another country or clients that are based in another country. So we are in Italy, but we try to be as global as possible. We have some employees that work outside Italy. We have clients that are not Italian and outside Italy. and we have had even some investors that were not Italians. So I think it's a good place where you base your company, also just for living in the amazing country, but then looking at the globe as your market.
Would you say that, in that sense, that Italy is not so saturated? If you think about the UK, the businesses are so well established, or there's so many, maybe in general, that there's more opportunities in Italy, let's say, because...
Yeah, it could be, because there is still a lot to do in terms of moving many markets to technology, So yeah, probably there is much more to do. And even when you think about the venture capital and the industry, that it's a little bit behind, but this is also mean that now it can come fresh and new. So yeah, I agree. It's probably also an opportunity from that perspective.
Going back to your studies, it seems that you were focused mostly on economics. So I'm just curious, did you study, economics or in that area because you wanted to go into business, or was it just you were good with numbers, so you decided, okay, I'll do that for now and I'll work out the rest later? What was it like studying?
I don't know, actually. I was extremely undecided. In the first quarter of university, I was doing parallel economics, law, and engineers, because I couldn't decide which one I wanted. Then at some point, I was also following some medicine lectures because I understood also I liked that. I was very undecided. But then I think I chose economics because was the one with the largest variety. I liked the idea that I was doing an exam in statistics and another exam in law and another in politics. So as a person that wasn't sure which field to take, I think economics opened your mind in a way that you do a little bit of everything. And but yes, then the specialization was actually in law and economics, and then I did a master in regulation at LSE. That was also something in between economics, law, and the government department.
With a mind to start a business later, or was it again just something you thought you liked? And
I think it was in the back of my mind. I didn't want to start straight away doing a business. I thought it was important to go and work for someone else and learn in a corporate. But yes, I always thought in the back of my mind that it could be even cooler and would be a dream to start something and being your own boss and start with your ideas and with your creative impulse to shape something and to build a company. I was not in a rush, but yeah, I think was in the back of my mind.
And you mentioned your master's, right? So you studied in London. What was behind that then? Did you feel that you wanted to do it abroad for some particular reason, or do you think it has any benefit, or just you wanted to live abroad? Or
So yeah, I finished my studies in Italy in my 5 years, and I couldn't really find a job that I liked. I actually then traveled to Australia for 6 months just to think about what I wanted to do. And then at some point, I understood that I could have had more chances to access to cool jobs and to cool companies with a master abroad. And also I understood that I like this field of regulation, this mix between economics, law, and politics. And this is why I chose that master. And I think actually it was at the end eventually a good or a lucky choice, because that master I started studying a lot about how Google and Facebook are reacting to certain type of laws. And by studying this, I thought, it would be nice to be in a legal department of Google. And then I applied to Google just at the end of the master, and I ended up working there, which was an amazing experience, which gave me also a lot of knowledge for starting my business.
I think that something we'll come on to in just a moment about Google. It's very interesting to get behind the scenes with Google. Going back just to your studies briefly, that time in London, for example, did you meet other like-minded people? Is that also sort of you networked a little bit and you use those people now in your business, or not really?
Not connected to my business. I met a lot of smart and fun and nice people. I have still friends that I made in my class in London. Many of them actually are from South America. I visited them after the master. I made a good group of friends, but as the master was so much based on regulation, most of them are people working for governments or things like this, and so it's not something that was so much connected to what I do now. I would say the only connection between the master and what I do now is that as I had already an idea about this business, I did the dissertation on online gambling regulation. As what we do, it's also connected with sports betting, and I wanted to understand the legal framework of that. But apart from that, I would say, as I was saying before, the master has connected me to the Google world, and the Google world then has connected me to what I'm doing somehow in terms of skills. But there hasn't been much instead of knowledge got from the master in London applied so much on the current startup.
How did you find the IELTS exam? The to study abroad, you had to do the IELTS exam.
It's very different than the exams there. It's a lot of things written down with time pressure. From us in Italy, it's more about speaking. I think both are interesting. I like that these things of the essay, of writing a lot and putting your ideas on paper. But I also think it's important what we do here, which is like getting used to sit down in front of a professor and speak rather than being yourself with your pen and your paper.
What was it like in your first job? How did you get on then after you finished your studies? What was it like in those first couple of positions?
You mean the one in Italy before the master, or Google after the master?
After the masters, before Google, you had a couple of jobs, right? 3 or 4, I believe.
Those were before the master. Then after I went to Google. So that I changed a lot. As I was saying, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, so I worked in a law firm because I wanted to understand if I like law so much to change and do a law degree. Then I worked in a television production company. Yeah, this was the two main experience before the master. I think was interesting again I think the more you do, even changing field, it give you different input from different things. But what I was feeling also in the production company is that the reality was too little structured, and so you couldn't really find what would have been your path, and often you were finding yourself doing maybe tasks that are too monotonous. While what I saw differently in Google is really seeing your career path and having the total freedom of choosing a lot of your project, of perceive your ideas, and to have also around you the resources to make things happen.
Yeah, moving on to Google then, a lot of people would see that position as like the peak of their career. You work for Google, it's like the peak. I was just curious, from someone who's been there, is it as good as it seems? Is it as good as people make out?
It probably depends on your team and on your org, because Google at this stage is so big that there are sub-organization and sub-team where some of them might be more fun, some of them might be less. My organization was super cool. I really, really loved my job in Google. I liked what we were doing. I liked the impact that we were having on people. I liked the team dynamics we had. I loved my managers, and I only had good memories of that, and also was progressing a lot. I had 3 promotions. I became people manager. I had my team. I would have never left if not for doing my own stuff. I wasn't looking around at all. I always think if I had to work back for someone, I would probably go back there if I could. I mean, I never know if they get me back. But yeah, just to say that I left only because it was impossible at some stage to own a startup, have your team in the startup, ask money to investors, while at the same time not being full-time, not fully committed because you are also full-time employee somewhere else. So it was a hard choice, but after thinking, I said, okay, let's go to accelerate the startup that I had founded meanwhile, and this gave me the energy and to make the decision of leaving
What inspired you to start your own business then? Was there you just you saw someone else do something and you thought, okay, that's a good idea, or did you always have this idea?
It came from the specific idea, because I had previously invented kind of a game, a modification of a fantasy football game, which we are still actually playing with my friends. And from that game, I thought that leveraging that idea, I wanted to make a company on it. And the original idea was to build a financial market where you can trade football players, basically. That based on their performance, an investor, a user can win money. And at the time, there was nothing like this. And I was really in love with this idea. And I was convinced that this idea could have been a good way to monetize. And that was the original idea at the base of Wall Street Football. And that brought me to find a co-founder, create the company, and eventually leave the job I had.
You're going to try and get it right this time, because I know I screwed up your surname. So the company that you first started is Giovanni Bertoli, if I'm not mistaken.
The one that I founded initially was Wall Street Football, and then Giovanni Bertoli, it's an acquisition that Wall Street Football has done after a while.
Right. Okay. I thought you were just the chairman of Wall Street Football, but that's the one you started.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
But I became chairman after having acquired it. As Giovanni Bertoli is a company that have been existing for 10 years. There are founders that have traded it, but through Wall Street Football, I acquired the majority of the shares of Giovanni Bertoli, and therefore, building the board member, I became chairman of this company.
Well, just to start off with Giovanni Bertoli, for example, on the website I saw that it said the first 360 platform on footballers. What is the 360 on footballers, and how does that benefit the consumer? What are you doing basically for the consumer here?
So basically, we noticed that nowadays there are a plurality of services, a plurality of apps respond to the needs of football fans. So you would have an app for live score only, app for fantasy football, apps for other games, app for news. So what we are trying to do there is to have a super app, like one single platform where most of the needs of football fans are in the same app and have a connection among them. So you have news about football, but when you read the news about a football player, you also see his statistic, and then you can go around the statistics section where you see their history, also their forecast, the probability about certain events, like how many shots this player will do next match. And then through this, you can end up playing some game, free to play, with no real money, where you try to predict what happened in the next football match, or quizzes. So it's like an environment where everything you like about football, live score, everything will be there. Something is already there, something will be there. And also we reward people for their football passion. So the more they stay in the app, the more they win quizzes, the more they read news, the more they accumulate these bomber coins. And these bomber coins can be used to take experiences like come to the stadium with us, or going in the changing room of a football player, or to buy product like the old jersey of a famous player. And so that's basically the vision of Giovanni Bertoli. And also in Italy, we have a huge community already. We have one of the largest football community, more than 5 million followers, 7 million of people that read news on our website. So in Italy, I think it will not be too complicated to win the market with this app. Then the challenge will be to enter new markets by either buying communities in other markets or making joint venture with them, and find a way to give our product to other communities abroad.
So with the other one, Wall Street Football, just two things. Where did the name come from? Was that the idea of you were thinking with your economics background and also your passion for football? And how is it different from the other company then? It's working in the same area, right? About gaining data and using that to put bets on, or it's a bit deeper than that?
Yeah, correct. The name came from the original idea. So Wall Street for reminding finance, and football for football. So the name came from that moment when we founded the company. where we thought it would have been a financial market. Then what happened is that we noticed that in terms of regulation, understanding what the market would be, who the stakeholders are, creating a financial product would have been complicated and dangerous because we might not have any go-to-market. And so we pivot the company to use this technology and this idea into different sectors, the sport media and the sport betting. So the sport media is the one we said before about KMRC Bomber that we acquired, and we gave our technology to them after the acquisition to use it in this kind of media and infotainment platform. And then out of Wall Street Football, we also founded another company called WSF Odds, which is the company operating in the betting market B2B. So what we do is with our forecasting algorithms, we basically create probabilities of events about football players. So number of shots on goal, assists, cross passes, every action of football player for all football players of all the team of 30 competition worldwide. We have the possibility of creating odds, even live when they play. And so we give this to bookmakers so that they are now able to offer these new types of bets to their users. So basically, Wall Street Football became an holding that control two companies that operate in two different industries, leveraging the same technology that still belong to Wall Street Football.
Are there any, in terms of where you collect the data from, what leagues are you in? Is it you're in all the leagues or just Europe? I mean, there's a lot in Europe, but which leagues do you look at?
30 leagues. So we have 30 different leagues or competitions. Some of them are in Europe. Most of them, I would say, are in Europe, but also we have like Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Mexico. So we have quite a few leagues around the world, and we are also working at increasing every quarter. So I think we will reach 45 leagues or competition by the end of this year. So we want to reach a point in which every player you want to bet on in the world, it's probably covered by us as would play in one of the X competition that we will be covering.
Do you find that has, on a personal note, that has expanded your passion for football? Like, are you watching the Brazilian league a bit more now because the technology has brought X player to your attention? So you're like, maybe I'll watch a Botafogo game or something, or you're still quite focused just on Italy?
Yeah, like the team, it's now looking a lot of matches because, to test our odds, to check if the speed is good as we are pricing odds real time. So you need to see if we are faster than the television. So in particular, like the actual people working on the team, the tech team, the product owner, and they ended up looking a lot of matches. Myself, being not that much hand-on the product, I didn't have to look so many matches. So I mostly, for passion, look AS Roma match. I go to the stadium a lot, but I'm not reached the point that I need to look so many matches worldwide. But again, the team now has an experience basically on unknown player of the second team of a faraway country.
Do you see the business expanding away from football? Like, because you said you're expanding into different countries or different leagues. Could you see it expanding into paddle or expanding into other sports?
Totally. So we have built the technology in a way that is scalable enough to be ready to scale also in a number of sports. So so far the focus was in scale the number of competition. Now for the next 6 months to 1 year, the focus will be on scale the number of betting type, market type that we have on soccer on this competition. So meaning that instead of betting only on shots, you will be able to bet on will this player shot with his header or with his right foot. So we are now working on expanding the market type. And then the next step, which likely will be on the second half of 2024, will be the scalability in terms of sports. So many clients are asking us to do tennis or to do American sports. And so, we will decide which one should come first in the pipeline. And maybe we can also do 2 or 3 in parallel once our focus will be on that, on scaling the number of sports.
And in terms of your business or your business partners, What did you look for in a good business partner or a co-founder? What did you look for? Someone who compliments you or someone who challenges you? Or
both, but mostly, complement me. I really believe a lot in delegation, and so I think it's useful to have a diverse team where each person maybe it's expert on something. So being a non-technical person, a non-engineer, a non-data scientist, and being myself more the economic side, low side, entrepreneurship side, or creative side, I really needed strong leaders and huge expert in the area of technology. So my first co-founders or team members have been people that have a huge expertise in mathematics and data scientists and or in software development. And so that they could be really the leader and the expert in building all this technology, both in terms of actual software, fast technology, and in terms of mathematics, creation of algorithms, and so far.
Someone just a bit of a deeper knowledge in the tech side of things.
Yeah, but at the same time, the leadership, because if a person is only expert in the subject, it might be then complicated for them to be leader for the people that they will hire or to choose the right people to hire. So I think what I try to do is to be surrounded by people that are not only super expert in coding, but also have social skills, leadership skills, and are nice people, good people to spend time with, people with a vision, and so that this could allow me to do the full delegation where maybe I can focus more on raising money from investors and speaking to clients and a lot of external activities, while internally the company it's basically run by the first leaders that joined the team and that became the CTO, the product owner, and so they could also find the next right people to hire and to join the company.
Okay, I see. Just not a Lazio fan, basically. Anyone but a good leader, not a Lazio fan, and that's it.
Yeah, that's actually true. That's actually true. So far, we don't have any Lazio fan, and we joke about the fact that we wouldn't get any. Yeah, of course, we joke, but it ended up. It happened to me to find, in Jira, in the tool, when you take notes about all the candidates that we interview, we take very seriously hiring. So we have a lot of things with notes like this person super strong with this technology, super strong with this, very good leader, he speaks very well. Sometimes it happened to me to find also and a Roma fan as a positive note to get the hiring down.
That's the way into the company. Just my final question is, if you could trade places with any CEO, any other business owner, who would it be and why? What would you maybe like to learn from that other business?
I wouldn't trade places. I'm happy to...
just for a week or something. Just a week.
In this company. Okay, so to learn and to see other things. Maybe it would be interesting to see a football club. Many people write and speak about how complicated it is to run a football club, how much money you waste, and that could be interesting out of curiosity. It's a very different business. I don't think it would necessarily teach us something for us that we are a tech company, but out of pure curiosity, it's something that would interest me.
All right, brilliant. Well, that was very interesting. I think everyone will find great insights to the world of business and sports. So thank you for your time. And Forza Roma, I suppose.
Thank you, Roma. Thank you, Chris. It was nice to meet you.